Hi, welcome to the Escondido Podcast. I wanted to cover a few things. On YouTube, I do not have my analytics present. So if you like a video and it only shows one like, it's because all the other likes are behind the scenes. They are not visible. I will probably change that in July. I've only been doing this a short time, so I'm just getting used to everything. So be patient. I'm very happy with how the direction this podcast is going. Um, Also, there's events to with groups that are trying to save Kid Carson Park from the skating rink. Look that up on your on friends on Facebook, and you will find all kinds of things to get involved with to save Kid Carson Park. Wear green in unity with Kid Carson Park. That's the color that shows that you are supporting the park and not the ice rink being built there. Okay, so something I wanted to cover, and it's neither here nor there for some people, and it's everything to others. So they've changed the way they're doing immigration and asylum seekers, which is really important because this is all falling under Stephen Miller's backwards leadership. So they used to be for hostile, credible fear interviews mandating that initial credible fear interviews were conducted by Custom and Border Protection officers rather than trained U.S. citizenship and immigration services. So those are two different groups. And when they change that up, it's significantly increasing rejection rates. So the USCIS policies that strip asylum status and green cards from asylees and their families placed them straight into deportation proceedings. Mass deportation quotas, directing immigration and customs to aggressively target immigrations on a large scale enforcement operation to hit arrest quotas of 3,000 individuals daily. So this is some of his changes that he's making, but having the group of people that interview credible fear when they come through the border is what's making some really big changes. The law enforcement mindset, the Border Patrol officers are trained primarily for law enforcement, border security, and deterrence, which leads them to approach interviews with skepticism. Adjudicative mindset, which is USCIS, asylum officers are trained specifically in refugee law to conduct non-adversarial interviews meant to elicit testimony from traumatized individuals. So the difference in the training and how they approach these people. So if you come from a country where, you've had, guns held to your head or your children's head, or saw somebody, lots of people get killed, and people, you get to America and you've got armed, officers yelling at you and screaming, you're not going to talk. You feel like you're in the same situation you're trying to leave. Legal expertise comes from USCIS officers because they undergo months of intensive training on international refugee law, country conditions, and identifying psychological trauma. The Border Patrol officers receive brief, crash course training on asylum law that focuses heavily on detecting fraud rather than evaluating complex legal claims. And this is creating a lack of trust with the asylum seekers fleeing persecution or violence by authorities. They are too frequently terrified to speak openly to informed armed law enforcement officers. So this is pretty crazy. He keeps getting crazier and crazier, this Stephen Miller. So he is a person that has to be removed from office along with the others. And there's just so many minions. Well, that's the show for today. And thanks for showing up.